All right, we are live. As always, let me know you can see me and hear me okay. Let me get things started. Let's get out of here. Let's go to GitHub. And Blueprint, pick up where we left off earlier. I think we merged everything. I took a quick peek at some of these open issues. So I think we're going to try to tackle one of these other bugs in this live stream. But something I wanted to mention first. This was pretty cool, and I actually I'm not very familiar with this, don't have any experience with this, but one of the open tickets was having like a JSON schema for PHP Storm or VS Code to kind of like do auto completion and validation of syntax. That would be super cool. I'm not like, again, I don't have any experience doing that, but like JSON, PHP Storm schema, I think it was. I just did a quick search and like, it looks like JetBrains does have some kind of, some kind of extension that you can write, but I don't know where it goes or how to load it or anything like that. So again, I'm sure I could read the stock page and figure it out, but I've tagged this. First of all, I've asked them if they know anything more about it and can provide any more information, but I've tagged it for community. So if anyone in the community is familiar with this, this would be an awesome PR, even just to get it started. You don't have to document like all of Blueprint, but even if you opened a PR with like just the high level syntax of like, models, controllers, whatever, like I will fill in the blanks. It's just I don't know what the schema looks like or have any additional resources on it. So again, whether it's just a resource or video or better documentation pages, anything, even a code sample would be great. So again, tagged it with the community. Hopefully the community can give me some support in this area. And then again, I'm glad to like take it the rest of the way. So we'll be skipping over that one. So the next one is, again, from Ronnie or Rooney. I'm not too sure the exact pronunciation there. But this is kind of yet another issue with nested namespacing. It doesn't seem to pick up one of these nesting things. So this is kind of a dense, issue, but I famous last words after the live stream earlier, but I don't think this one would be too difficult to fix. So I think this is the one we're going to try to tackle in part 2. Again, just kind of going down the bugs. So let's see if we can understand this a little bit. Looks like there's a draft file, which I'm just going to copy, and let's go CD period, I think I have like a blue L8 or something, yeah. GST, get reset dash hard, clear, get clean dash FD, clear, composer, require dash dev, Laravel shift, blueprint. Okay, so what I want to do is just take theirs and kind of get a better feel for it, maybe instead of reading through everything. So let's do a pb paste draft.yaml, and then we'll do PHP artisan blueprint build, nothing else. Okay, cool. It generated everything. So let's kind of get a feel for like what's going on here so we can see ourselves what the issue is. So I'm just going to bring this up in Atom since I already have PHP Storm open with Blueprint. And let's just kind of get a feel again for which one's broken. So it works quite well, but loses track of the namespace for other components. It will create what appears to be the correct files. However, the namespace will always be the current namespace and not the actual namespace. Now, I don't know what they mean by actual namespace. So let's kind of try to figure that out. They made a question format and a question type top level, and then they made appointment. Okay, so that's all good. And then the factories are under the correct spot. The models are under the correct spot. So maybe the code themselves. Notice the path to the question format and question type class have been left out of the appointment namespace. That That makes sense to me because they're not under that. Notice the path to question format have been left out. Oh, okay, he's in model, app models appointment. Okay, let's take a look here. So let's bring up appointment type. Was that it? App models screening question. Yeah, screening question. Let's get in there. Okay, well, first of all, it didn't put it in models, but I think that is a configuration thing and not related. So let's just keep focusing on this for a second. Screening question. Does he reference like? Yeah. Okay, I see the issue. Yeah. Question format did not get. Question format did not get stored. This should really be, for this particular application where I don't have the models namespace enabled, that should look like that. I think ultimately is what he's saying. And I'm sure it looks like he goes on to say that the factory as well for screening question is also messed up. Yeah, so let's just bring that up just so we can see it. Screening question factory and question type. Yeah. So for some reason it thought those were appointment, when again they should really be that. Okay. I think we've exemplified what the problem is now. So let's go back to Blueprint and let's check git checkout master, clear git pull, because we merged some stuff earlier. And what is this? 442. Git checkout dash b fix for 442. All right. And again, based on what we learned earlier, I think the correct course of action is just going to be to make a brand new YAML file. So let's nested components. Let's just see what this looks like. Oh, that's it, like a nested. Okay, let's just do like a nested models or something. I think that is a fair enough bit here. So let's just say file. Yeah, I don't see YAML. So let's do nested models.yaml. And we'll take a portion. We really only need like these two things to kind of demonstrate the issue. So let's kind of trim this down so it's a little easier to work with. Again, we don't really need all those things. Whoops, we do need that. And let's just put in something real simple like, or well, yeah, let's keep that appointment type, actually. What was that? Appointment type? Yeah, let's keep this and just, name's fine. Again, we don't care about all these additional fields. What I care about is an example of this, actually. This is really enough to demonstrate the issue, right? So what we have are models under various namespaces, and we could even push things a little farther and like put this under something else to kind of demonstrate, you know, the issue. We could even put this under like screening or something, just to really push it, right? Like it's going to reference something in a different nested thing, not its own, and then you know, a separate one and all sorts of stuff, right? I think that's pretty good. I don't want to make this too crazy because we're going to have to generate a lot of stuff, but I think if we can test this at the model and the factory layer, it'll probably solve what we need, I think. I don't know if the controller layer is working out well or not. I'm going to make a report here just for giggles. And we'll just call this name string. And just to, again, really kind of push this along, we'll call this like report ID And then ID, I don't care about this foreign stuff. We're not here to test that. So I'm gonna get rid of that. Unless it's generating extra code. Does it generate extra code? I don't see the migration in here, so that's a little bit, it's a little bit tough to know. We can always add it back. Okay, I think this is more than significant to demonstrate the issue. So let's go into models, or sorry, tests, feature test, generators, model generator. Okay. And what did we say earlier? Command 7? Yeah, there it is. Nice. Okay, so what I want to do, generates models with custom namespace correctly. Okay, I want to kind of borrow from this, I think. And custom models namespace. Let's kind of just unpack this a bit. And let's just see what this is doing. So generates models, not necessarily custom namespace. Let's just say something like proper or with namespaces correctly. How about that? And let's change this to be nested models. And I don't know what path's used for yet, so we'll just kind of leave that alone. And then we're going to want a nested models. I don't know what the difference between Laravel 8 is. Oh, we configure it to be models. That's fine. I mean, we know if it works here, it's going to work the other way around too, so that's not an issue. The rest of this stuff is fine. That's fine. Model exists is fine. It's going to put the fixture of the model in, which is... Okay, so we're going to need to make that. Okay. I think... I'm not exactly sure what this app models tag does. The problem is this is actually probably going to generate like a lot of models, right? Because we have 4 of them in there. So that's a little bit annoying in regards to the test. But let's go ahead and run this. And let's just kind of see what happens. Do we have anything in the chat? Anybody out here? Who's joining me? Anybody join this morning? I'm curious. All right, vendor bin, PHP unit. Whoops, we forgot to filter that. -- filter equals boom. Okay, so of course we don't have this fixture file, so I'm just gonna touch that. And let's run this again and kind of get a demonstration of like what. Okay, so it makes question type. So that's the first issue. Right? And question type's fine, it's app models, so this one is not really the issue. So we can just take this and kind of dump this out. How can we dump this out? I'm trying to think. We're going to kind of need to test. Do we need to test all of these? I guess to be thorough, I should probably dump them all out. I'm just trying to think, like, do I really need every single model, you know, to come out of this nested models, or is the screening one kind of the only, you know, is that the only one I really care about, right? Because there's nothing fancy about these. It's just we need them to. I wonder if we could fake the test with like. We could fake the test with our own tokens. That's a little bit ugly though. Yeah, that's a little bit ugly. So what is this complaining about ultimately? No matching handler found. Okay, so let's do this. Let's just stub out. Let's just stub out these additional paths, right? Because all we really care about is our kind of final screen version of it. Where's path used? I just want to see where path is used. Where is it used in this? Okay, let's get rid of that. That's kind of confusing. All that's kind of confusing, to be honest. We're going to get rid of those variables here in just a second. Okay, so we should expect that app models question type .php is put out, and it can really just be like mockery any. Where's mockery? Do they have an any string type? Do you say string? Is that? I think you can say something like that. Let's find out. Is string? Yeah, it just does a lowercase. Okay. I wish there was like a better version of that. I would have liked something a little cleaner there, but that's okay. It works. So of course we expect it just to output a string. That's kind of irrelevant. Same thing with our other models. So appointment type and screening. So this should be under that. Great. And then same thing with the screening report. Screening report. All right. And then finally, it should output the one we want, which is under screening and get rid of that. And screening question. Now this is the one we actually would want to test. And now I'm going to inline this model because I just don't. Is this it? Yeah, that's it. There we go. Let's inline that. And then, do we use definition anywhere else? I don't think so. Let's inline this as well. Cool. And then the next thing we need to do is we're going to have to update these with all the paths that we stole here. So I think I might be able to do something like this. And there we go. There's that, and let's just, that's nasty, never mind. There we go, that's a little cleaner. All right, cool. Let's run this again and kind of see where we landed. So we basically stubbed out each one of those additional bits, and now we're gonna have to do some checks for this other stuff. So there's some other checks it's running into, so it's not just the models folder. Again, all this is tested elsewhere, so I'm willing to be a little bit fast and loose with this. I mean, theoretically, you would put in all the different things you would be able to call this with, but I'm just going to say as long as it's called with a string, just always return true. In fact, if I'm doing that, it's just like, hey, check exists and always return true. Okay, now we're in a place where it's saying, hey, app model screening does not match this. So let's take what it generated just to give us that proper failing test, and then we're going to clean it up. So here it is. Now right now we should run this, and oh, it's going to call these multiple times. That's a bit lame. All right, again. Why does it call model stub multiple times? It shouldn't do that. Which one is it claiming it did? Model stub fillable. These should actually be cached. I mean, there's 4 models, so I don't mind throwing like a ×4 there, but it seems like it shouldn't have to do that. I thought these were like properly. So annoying. All right, that passes. Let me just check that real quick. I thought these stub methods like had a local cache built in or something. Let me let's look at the model generator and find where we get the stub in here. Yeah, see these should get. Oh, it's on the file. Okay, we moved that. Technically they're cached at runtime, but theoretically we would call this multiple times. But I think if you go and you look at files and like stub wherever we define it. I think it's just a macro. It has a kind of an internal caching if we dug that out. So it makes sense. We actually do call these stubs multiple times. And again, because we're not explicitly saying what we're calling it with, we do call this 4 times. So I think those are actually okay. I didn't really like them at first, but I think they're okay now. All right. My Bluetooth keeps turning off because no one's chatting. That's the only like noise the computer will make. So it keeps these on. I kind of count on those chats every now and then. Okay, so just to make sure I didn't break anything else, let's run everything. I didn't think I did, but just for that. Okay, so we have a test that's currently passing, but it's passing incorrectly. So now let's make it fail for the right reasons. So what I want to see here is report, screening, checkbox. Appointment type, not a checkbox. This should be appointment. And then question type should have nothing. And again, I think this is a really good demonstration. Oh, did I spell that wrong? No. Okay, so I think this is a good demonstration because this way we're not just like remembering screening and then reusing it for every single one, kind of like what it's doing now. We're getting some variance in there. So again, the test was probably a little bit overkill, this nested models, to have 4 different ones, but I think it's a really good indication, or really strong test. So, you know, if we're going to do it, let's get it all the way done, right? And at this point, the toggling of models and not models is a configuration value that's tested thoroughly by other tests. So I'm not too worried. If it can get these sub namespaces correct, then it's really irrelevant, the app models part. So kind of what I want to do now is, of course, this is going to fail because it doesn't match screening, because that's kind of the bug, right? So let's close this test and let's bring up the migration or the model generator again. And so what I want to do now is sorry, went off again. I don't care if you send me a emoji of a thumbs up or what, but put something in the chat every now and then so I quit losing this. Just somebody, once every 5 minutes, just give me a ping. I don't care. Okay, what I want to do is, I think there's something in here called reference. I just want to find, yeah, here we go. Model relationships, type, and references. Okay. So what I want to do is I kind of want to review this code and see this fully qualified namespace. I want to see something's going wrong here. Like it's not, when these models get built, it's like they don't know what they're supposed to be, right? So let's check that out. So I just want to do like a print R. This is a bit ugly, but I just want to do like a print R of namespace here. And we're just focusing in on our very one test, so we shouldn't get a lot of noise here. So we got appointment, screening, screening. That's good. In fact, if we var dump this, I would expect to see null and then appointment, screening, screening. Or empty string, yeah, empty string, appointment, screening, screening. Okay, so that's correct. So the namespaces are coming across correctly. They're being stored correctly. So this is maybe what I want to look at. Let's see. Let's just, again, just some poor man's debugging here, or poor developers debugging here. So no namespace set for, and then let's just output this name and just a line break to make our life easier. And then same thing here, we'll say namespace for. All right, so when we're calling namespace, what are we returning? Let's just make sure we're still getting it back here. So we're actually never calling that method. Interesting. We are calling, we gotta be calling fully qualified. We saw that we were. So let's just see here, same thing. Fully qualified class name for name. and we'll say is, and then fully qualified name. Or well, it's actually not the class name, it's the namespace. All right, let's see what these are. So question type is app models, appointment type is app models appointment, report is app models screening, and screening question is app models screening. These are correct. So from a model perspective, this is all being tracked correctly. So I'm just going to back all this out so we don't have any fuss. All right, and just to make sure if I GST, we shouldn't have models in there, and we don't. Could have done that with Git, I suppose, but Command Z felt faster for some reason. Okay, so now what I want to do is, we know that it's not a low level with the model. So before I kind of unpacked, 80 lines of code here, I wanted to make sure it wasn't a quick win somewhere down in that. So let's kind of see what's going on here. We go over each one of the references, and we basically, I wonder if this foreign key thing is kind of messing it up. No, because we took off the foreign, so it's not just that. So now we have a morph to. It's not a morph to relationship, so that shouldn't be an issue. It's not a morph mini. If keys null, fully qualified namespace. All this should be fully qualifying it correctly. And is it only getting in here for foreign keys? No, this is every relationship type. Okay, let's do this. Print R references. Let's see what these references are. Okay, cool. There we go. Report, appointment type, question type. Okay, great. So, forget it. Okay, we're gonna get rid of those. Okay, so we have the, what do we have here? The references for this are all the different model names. So we kind of need to see when we pull these out and turn them into something else. So I kind of want to trace what I do with reference here. So we don't have any colons, that should be fine. So we kind of skip that and we just go down here where the class is that reference. And now we turn it into an uppercase class name. We should have the model though. Oh, okay. I see what the issue is now. It's always the same. It's always the same model. This is the model that we're in. It actually needs to take the reference. It actually needs to take this class name and then look that model up out of the registry and use its name to generate. Okay, we're on to something now. Okay, so let me var dump this so we can kind of better demonstrate what I'm talking about here. Just in case that was a bit, yeah, okay. So we are getting the correct names for these, great. We're extracting that and doing that correctly. But the issue was we're not looking that up right here. Cool. All right. Nice. Oh, I wonder why my pings weren't working. Huh. Sorry about that. I wonder, did I have like the volume off? I did, didn't I? Yeah, that was throwing me off. Sorry about that. For some reason the Bose had had that off so I wasn't getting any in the chat. Okay, sorry. It was muted, so of course it was going off every 5 seconds. So sorry about that. I appreciate all the pings. Okay, so sorry. Let me catch up here for a second. That's totally throwing me off. Okay, boom, ping, pan. All right, Adrian knew what it was. It's not the FQN from the reference model. Cool, all right, looks like we all figured that out right around the same time. I'm glad we took that journey together. Okay, so yeah. So we know what it is now. This model is not our model. It's a model from another location. Now somewhere in here, I don't know if it's in this class, but definitely in other classes, I've used something that like, and this is where that command 7 is going to help. I had something where you could like find a model reference. It doesn't look like it's in here though. Let me look at the controller generator. Controller generator. There we go. Let me turn this off. I think there's something like determine model. Yeah, here we go. Somewhere we bring, I thought somewhere we like looked up, yeah, model for context. Yeah, if is set model. What does this do? This is what we need. This is what we need. It's quite ugly, but it's what we need. Cool. Yeah. This is one of those like huge refactors I want to do with Blueprint. Is it'd be cool if there was an easier way to get at this tree. So let's see where we have access to the tree. So of course we get the tree here, but then we kind of loop over it lower. And I think if you look at something like the generator here, I actually assign it when we get it, which is, you know, it's a little bit lame, but this is going to be the fix. So again, it's part of the refactor because at this point all these classes are like starting to do this. So let's add this property, private tree, var tree. I like these to be one line, that's just me. Although I think technically they're not like a valid PHP doc or something by doing it that way. I don't remember, but it's kind of weird. And we're gonna need that model, or not controller. What does controller even do? It's very strange. Okay, so determine model. I don't necessarily want to determine model. I kind of know what it is already. I really just need this fully qualified bit. So let's copy that, bring it back over here. Just put it down here at the bottom for now, underneath the cool stuff we did earlier. And then, wow, what was that variable name? That was terrible. Ugh. Might want to look at that. Okay, so now I'm trying to think, what's kind of the cleanest way to get past this? We want this model. What does that do? We kind of want to pass it like a model name. And the worst case scenario is it would just return the class name back. But in a way, we would have to know that it didn't return that model back. I don't know what sub namespace is about, so I think we can maybe ignore that. Okay, so let's see what this is doing. This is basically saying model for context is going to take the model name, try to find it. If it finds it, then it's going to return the fully qualified name for that model. That's exactly what we want. Now, fully qualified class name. Okay, great. And then otherwise, we would probably want to return the namespace of the current model, I suppose. Or just null and then like have there be a backup. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what I'd want to do here. So I think for now, I'm just going to return null. This is a little different. I wanted to keep this the way the other one was, but we've already kind of changed the method signature. So let's go back to where we were. And I think what I'd like to do is say class name, leave class name alone. And now we'll say something like model. Let's just do fully qualified class name. Am I setting this anywhere else? Hopefully I'm not using that anywhere else. I'm not. Okay. So here's where we'll say this, determine, what do we call it? Fully qualified model reference. Okay. And then pass it class name. And if that doesn't find anything, then it's kind of like we'd want to use this, right? I mean, we're always using that. So let's just change this to fully qualified class name. And so if that returns null, then you're this. Oh wait, I didn't need 4 of them. Then you're that, right? Let's see what this does. Undefined offset 0 tree. Oh, did we not assign it? No, we did. Did we not pass model name in there correctly? Oh, I'm hearing some chat. Maybe somebody knows. Okay. Fully qualified reference. Where did that originate? Tree 49, model generator 425, 218, which is this line. So we're definitely breaking something here. What's the dilly, yo? Let's see what we're getting down here. Maybe we're getting something we don't expect. Report. Undefined offset 0. That's very strange. Line 49. Models matches 0. It didn't find any matches. Undefined offset 0. How can you have a count of matches equal to 1, but not have anything in 0? Where's matches get set? It's an array filter. That's jacked up. What the heck's going on here? Maybe it's like a weird stubbing with the models? What's up? Screening report. Interesting. Okay. Well, it still should return. It still returns screening report. What's matches 0? What is even in models? I want to see what is in array key of these models. Print R array, whoops, array keys, this models. Models. What's wrong with you, this models? Property not found in tree. Okay, well, it is. Undefined offset 0. Oh, because the index. Okay, it preserves the keys. Interesting. It's not matches 0. It's just kind of like current. Can you do? I think you can do that. Current. I mean, we could do array values, but I think current's gonna cut it. And just to prove that, we can take this and put it here. Surprised nothing else ever blew up on that. Okay, hey, this is already looking infinitely better. It's missing the prefixing slash there. So that's amazing to me that something else never broke on that. We were always returning the first one. See, good thing I made all those models in my fixture, right? Really push the boundary every now and then. Don't just do the easy one. Let's just see if I broke anything else with all these shenanigans. 3 errors, yes I did. Okay, but it's all gonna be because of that prefixing slash, so that's totally fine. Okay, let's go back. I heard something in the chat. I'm sure it's Adrian. What's he up to? Report is key 2, not 0. Yes, you nailed it. All right. That's not where I want to be. Okay, let's go back. Why is, I guess this doesn't return. It should return it should return slash slash. Why would it not? Did I not set that in the test correctly? It's just models. That's kind of weird. No. That's actually legitimate. That's legitimate. Let's take this away and put it back down here. That's actually legitimately missing. It's not something that these methods do, because if you think about it, the blueprint namespace is app, and then we add the namespace separator, and then you'd have models. So they never have that, you know, they never have that global namespace prefix, you know, in the very front, right? They're always going to just be, you know, the global, or not the global reference, but kind of just like the reference without that prefixing slash slash. So I think this should be green. And it is. So let's get rid of all of our stupid outputting debugging there, and then we'll review the chat and see if we can clean up some of these names and whatnot we may not like. So let's do a git add-p. Yes, we're going to keep track of the tree. Yes, we're set the tree. No, we don't want to mess up any of the Laravel unary operators. We do want to fix this. It does look like, unfortunately, I messed up some formatting there. So we'll clean that up in a bit. No, and then yes to that. Yes, that was a good fix there, good find, and yes to our new test. And then git add -i, or well, since they're all in test fixtures, we can do git add test fixtures, GST. I'm just gonna whip this real quick so I can do git reset --hard, and again, we'll clean up that name here in just a second. So vendor bin PHP unit, no poor man's debugging, what? Oh, I left it in that new method, didn't I? Fully qualified, yes I did. Okay, no poor man's debugging, and we are back to green. Okay, let's take a minute to see if there is some kind of improvement we can do here. We're only using it in this one spot. I guess the reason I don't want to, normally I would probably agree with cleaning this up a little bit, like, you know, fully qualified model, you know, namespace or something for model or whatever. I kind of like the fact that it's the same as the other one, because again, I'm going to go back and refactor the ability to ask the tree for this stuff. Like I don't want every generator to have a version of these methods. I'd like the tree to just be able to say, like, you know, find model or whatever. Sorry, I thought Izzy was crying. And then so for those reasons, I also don't want to like pass the current model and class name in there to kind of like always give something back. We could inline a lot of this by doing that, but I think I'm going to kind of intentionally leave it gross for those reasons, because I want to give it a refactor in the future. So, all right, let's see if there was anything else in the chat. I don't think so. All right, cool. So for those reasons, I think we're okay here. We're not done though. The last piece we need to do is the factory, or at least the last piece we think we need to do is the factory. So let's bring up the factory generator test. And is there anything in here for namespaces? It respects configuration. Okay. That's fine. Cool. All right. So let's kind of do the same test. Again, everything's looking pretty good. Like, we're testing a lot of the other features in there. So I really just want to test that the references to these are correct. So I'm not too worried about overriding that this time. So in fact, I'm not going to override this time with the bit there. And I wonder what use Laravel. Oh, it's going to make a class and not. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Okay, so this factory stub, this is all good. Unfortunately, we're going to have to generate every single one of these again. So what I'm going to do is just make a few of these for all those other factories. And again, we'll just make sure they're going to kind of the right spot. So mockery, type string. Cool. And then this is going to be, what was that, question? Oh gosh. Let's just bring this up for now. So this is question type. Let's get the 4 we need. And then appointment type underneath. And then one more for screening, report. And then the final one for our screening, without the spaces, of course. And then this will be our fixture for, what did we end up calling these? Nested models, Laravel 8. So again, that's the one we care about because that's the one that's going to have all the references. We are going to have a bunch of created whatnots here. So let's go ahead and do that dance where we pull all these together again. All right, paste, comma, format. All right, cool. And minus that there, let's get a new name. So output generates references for nested models correctly. Or well, it's implied that it's correctly. That's kind of silly. All right, let's steal this. Let's steal this. Dash filter equals. All right, so we don't have that. Let's touch this. All right. Oh, we're generating the old model too. So let's close this down. And we need to parse nested models.yaml. And I think you said what, 191? Okay, so we got that. Good. All right, thanks. Let's run this again. And it's just dumping out question type factory. Oh, all these need factory on them. Factory. And so do these. Factory, and there was that space you were talking about. Cool. Okay, no matching handler. Okay, yes. So now we're going to deal with the same issues. We got to stub these out to, you know, be able to just always return true. So this should be times, what, 4, I guess. All right, that takes care of that. And then there we go. I would have expected a few more issues, but that's okay. So let's go to that nested model factory, paste this, and it's passing, but again, this is wrong. It has the wrong names. These need to be some correct names here. So before carrying on, let's just make sure I didn't break anything else. Of course I didn't, because I haven't touched any implementation code, but let's change this to the right thing. So this should be appointment, this should be question, and this should be screening. And these are in alphabetical order, so I think ultimately that should probably be the way this looks. So we're gonna get a failure now, and now we should be able to go back and get these correct. All right, no easy poo, but I know I'm getting close to time. All right, let's see if we can get this done in the next 15 minutes. Okay, so we kind of know the dance now, so let's go to factory generator and let's just right away see if we're doing anything with tree, and we're not. So because of that, we know we're never going to be able to solve this, or at least we know how to solve this the other way. So let's just go borrow the same kind of stuff from that. So let me bring these up just side by side so we can kind of just dance along here. Boom, whoops, and that's the wrong thing. Oh, come on. Come back, factory generator. All right, let's drop that in there. And then we know we're gonna need this method. And again, we could tweak the naming, but I'm not going to, so that way when I go and search the code base, whenever I do this huge refactor of putting that all in tree, you know, it's nice and easy to spot. Okay, so I think we have the pieces that we need out of model generator. So I'm gonna go back to turning that off, and somewhere in here, we're gonna have to figure out where we generate the models. So build definition, if it's ID, continue, of course. If it's nullable, fine. If it's a foreign key, we pull out foreign, we get the key. Okay, so here we start doing stuff with the class. This is probably where, yeah, it's not just this model, right? It's other models. So add import, send it the model. So this is probably where things would need to get tweaked. Where is model? Model is our model being passed in. Okay. So do we do anything else with model down here? Let's just find it. So G, uh-oh, can't see that. I'm assuming that's fully qualified. Yes, it is. What else do we do with model? Okay, we keep using model a little bit lower. This is kind of the same issue though. We pull out class here. I kind of hate that there's multiple paths that we're going to be messing with. Kind of model on. That's a bit annoying. Just trying to see if there's any other model references. Because what I'm wondering is if we could take model, I think that's the end of it. I'm wondering where we could be smart enough to override model. But I think we got this else if ID and then we do something else with class. So there's going to be two locations where we have to do that. It's kind of lame, but we're just going to do the same thing twice. Okay, so it's the same thing we did before. It's fully qualified class name is equal to either this fully qualified model reference for the class or the original fully qualified thing dot class, right? But I don't know what this add import does. What does this do? Imports model name class. I don't understand that. It's assigning a reference. It's assigning a reference to, yeah, crap. This is going to have to be a little different. This one's going to have to be a little different. We're going to need to keep like the whole reference. So, yeah, because of the way add import works, it takes the model name and then says, okay, this is the import that you're going to do, and it makes sure to kind of array dedupe those later. It's just it makes it simple to just stack up all the imports and then pack them down later. It's a little bit lame that maybe this isn't determined another way and we have to pass in the whole model, but yeah, it's kind of built that way for a couple different reasons. So I don't really want to go unpacking that. I don't have the time, honestly, to unpack that, so I'm going to leave it alone. I think what I'm going to do is update this method to return the model and then do this. So let's go down here. And what I'm going to do is change this to reference. All right. So we're still going to get a model name. And if we find a model, then we just return it. Right? Super, super easy peasy. And we can actually even just return this now. We don't even need to do this other stuff. Because if it doesn't find anything, then it doesn't find anything. Which kind of makes this method like almost irrelevant. But again, I want to keep it. That way when I go searching for it, I can keep them all the same. When I can say, oh, someday, who else uses this crappy method I've copied 50 times? I've got it. So instead of one-lining that, I'm going to leave this alone. Fully qualified model reference. So again, it's not the right name. Just deal with it. And we're going to change these to this. And then anywhere else there's model, we're going to change to that. And we're kind of going to end up doing the same thing right here, right? We're going to say reference is class or the model, and then we're going to add the import, fully qualify the class name otherwise. All right, let's see how this does. Okay, app screening question. So it didn't get something there. Something wasn't right. It just thinks it's the screening question. It just thinks it's the current model. That's kind of strange. Did we not pass it something correctly? We don't have a foreign key, so this is where we want to work. So maybe this class isn't what we think it is. So let's just var dump this for a second. Let's var dump this for a second as class. And let's see what we're getting. No, we have report, appointment type, and quest. Okay, cool. So fully qualified. Let's var dump this. Does it find what we want? Maybe it's not finding it. Maybe we lost something essential when we removed that. Array 0. Oh, it's returning the whole model, of course. So we've got question type, and then it returns the model for question type. Great. And then does it do it for the other stuff? Yeah, appointment type, cool. And model report. Yeah, okay. So it's finding these. Why would it not be outputting them correctly? Maybe I just don't have all the spots. The screen's kind of small. Let's check this out. Add import, further reference, fully qualified. Oh, is that right? Yeah. Fully qualified namespace, and then add the class. Fine. And then here, same thing. Is there like a floating model reference around here somewhere? No. It's very strange. We're running Laravel 8. That should be fine. And we're using reference. Let's see what this is, shall we? I would have kind of expected that to be a headshot in a way. Let's dump that back out because we know that's working. It's taking up a lot of space. So app screening, great. App appointment, question type app. These are all correct. Why are they not getting saved as the import? So it's finding them correctly. It's the import that's the problem now. What is wrong with you? Let's go to add import. Model name. Model name. We're definitely adding it. Do we somehow add it somewhere else and mess it up or something? All right, I want to see. I hate that that's called class. It should be like a reference or something. That's weird. Yeah, something else is calling this. Or no, that's ours, isn't it? So many var dumps. This is the problem with debugging. I need Ray. I should have fired up Ray. It's on my MacBook Pro, but it's not on the iMac. I need to do that. Okay, it's sending these in correctly. So something is wrong with add import where it's packing that down incorrectly or something. So let's find out what's going on there. I'm hearing some chat, so maybe somebody knows. First parameter needs to be model, not reference. No, I don't think that's it. Reference is a model at this point. So I don't think it's that. It would be blowing up when I try to dereference the name there. So it's not that. It's something with import. Let's find where else I use import. So we array unique model names, sort them, and then dump them out. So I want to see. Oh. This generates multiple factories at once. That's why the model name is there, because that's the factory class that I'm generating at that time. Yes, I see what you're saying now. Good call, good spot. I would have missed that totally. Okay, yes, this needs to be model. Yes, good call. And this needs to be model. Good one, peeps. All right, that should be closer. So, Q doesn't come before S. LMNOP, Q, RS. Oh, it does. Oh my God. Oh man, I thought Q was after S in the alphabet. That's funny. Oh man, I need some sleep. That is hilarious. I would have bet money that Q was after S in that moment in time. That is hilarious. All right, good stuff. Okay, we're good to go, peeps. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these model references are incorrect in a few other locations. And again, I would expect every generator to eventually have a method of this class, and then that's when I'm basically going to be like, rule of three, this is stupid. I'm tired of changing this in 6 spots. Let's put it on tree. If I had more time, I might do it today, but I want to get these bugs out because my time's just limited these days. So, all right, let's get this tidied up in PDARD, and I will merge and tag it here in a bit. So let's do the tree. The tree is good. We're going to get the reference to the qualified class name. Otherwise, great. And again, don't change that first model. Good thing we have tests and helpful audience members, so thank you. And we're just going to change it in these few spots, and then of course wrap that. No var dumps. Definitely add the additional test and the test factory. Fixtures. Clear. GST get commit dash amend DW track model reference for what is this? That was relationships or nested. for nested models. Generate, yeah, how about that? Generate correct reference for nested models. I think that's pretty good. Could have just said whip, I suppose. Git push origin head. Let's just make sure I didn't lose anything in all that git magic I was doing. I still have the var dump. I thought there was something strange. Where did I leave a var dump? Thought I got them all. Just my project, shall we? PHP Storm's like slipping lately. All right. Model generator, ooh, left it in there. Git append, git push, whoops, push origin head dash f. All right. Vendor bin PHP unit. Git open. All right, let's generate that. Properly track, properly determine namespace for related models in model and factory generators. However, there may be other locations still missing. ... AKA incomplete pull request. Closes 4442. All right. Let's generate that and let those tests run in the background. I will check the chat, but I probably will need to call it quits since we're moving past the hour. Okay, cool. Thanks everybody for joining live. Let's see here. Just to make happy, if you could you open your key map and look for file structure? No, I already closed PHP Storm. I'm not going to open it up. Just tweet me or whatever your fancy key map is, but I like to keep the defaults, so you know, I'll take a look at it. And I need to go through Christoph's course, so you know, if he calls it something else, then I'll take a look at it. So if it's in there, then I'm going to catch it anyway, so no worries. All right, like I said, I'm going to let these run, and then I will merge this and tag the latest release with these fixes and comment or tweet about that shortly. So thanks again for the help. Sorry for the audio issues with the Bluetooth there. Everybody was sending me the pings and pongs, so I appreciate that. I'll make sure to have the correct audio output next time. See y'all.